Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, in the first game of the Winter Cup 2022. And look at this, what do we have here? It's a free-for-all between 5 players who participate in the Winter Cup. And the reason that we have a free-for-all is simply that it's difficult to balance tournament settings with 5 players only. And so this is why we have this free-for-all. Although I think there is some confusion about the tournament settings in general, and we will see that in the later games. So, in the yellow, we have Herr Acker, the rising star of the recent weeks and months. He has practiced quite a bit, and so we expect great things from him. And especially we expect him to beat Gummibär Grün, who is always in the green. He is playing the Burgundians of all things. I don't know if this was a Sif pick scenario or if it was random Sif, although it looks more like it was a Sif pick scenario actually. Then in the blue we have tournament host and organizer Fred Dinjovic, who is eating some llamas over here. He is playing as the Hindustani, so this definitely looks like a Sif picking situation. Filthy Sif pickers. And then finally, or no, not finally. First of all, we have to introduce the Emperor himself, Jesse the Emperor, driving all the way to Schacha from the Netherlands, and we could follow his progress on the way, on the road, on his drive to the Cup. And so he made it in time and is participating, and this is very exciting. And then finally, in the red, we have the man, the legend, Food Please, who won the last Couch Cup, and so the pressure is on him. He has to, oh my god, look at this, look at the slaughter of the llamas already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 llama corpses underneath the town center. So one just rotted away, and now the villagers turn around and are like, actually we don't want llama meat. We want the juicy boar meat. And another llama being ready for the slaughter, but there's so many corpses here, and you know that decay is a thing. So this food on the corpses is ticking down and down. So pretty bad start actually for Food Please, and I think he should maybe task some villagers over to the llamas just to reduce the waste that he is producing. Look at this, and we'll come back later and check how much food has decayed. But this is already a pretty bad start for Food Please, who is playing as the Spanish. So another try-hard Sif pick situation here, and Jesse is the Persians. And another llama corpse decaying outside of town center. So we have the same situation for many players here. Also here, 2 llamas being, no, 3 llamas or 2 llamas and the boar being taken here for Gummibär. And so all of these players seem nervous or rusty maybe in some cases. So this will be interesting for sure. And then here in the yellow, I didn't mention it, Herr Acker is playing as the Byzantines, a defensive civilization, and I think quite a good pick in a free-for-all, because in a free-for-all you don't want to go for all-out aggression in the beginning. You want to hang back a little bit, build up your economy, and make sure that you actually have the tools to compete with the other strong players without spending too many resources in useless fights. And so Acker bringing in the second boar here. We can look at the villagers. Brady a little bit ahead, so you see the superior macro management here, and also because he is the Hindustani, so his villages are cheaper, so maybe that helped him in having less idle time. Jesse is a little bit behind, but not too much, and all the other players are pretty even, although Brady now at 20 villages, so there must be some considerable idle time for the other players. Or it might just be that he didn't get loom and the other players might have gotten loom. No, they also didn't get loom, so some idle time, and we can see clearly that there is some idle time. Look at this gatherer. He is like pretending to work. He's like, I'm helping, I'm doing something, but in reality he's not doing anything. Now finally being retasked onto the berries here by Gummibär Grün. Now we have some long distance hunting here, which is always a good option if you have deer far away. If you just have 4 villages on one deer, you can basically get it all in one go. And now we have a Drush coming in, and this is something I don't like in a free-for-all in this situation. I like the fact that they added, or that Food Police added, the militia, but the problem is those are mostly for defense. And now you can try to annoy an opponent a little bit, weaken him, but at the same time you're weak against an attack by another player. And so this is risky, to say the least. And I think we have some walling going on here by Aka. Walling always important in these free-for-all situations, but the walls could then later on surely be extended a little bit. And now the militia are coming in. We have none of the players are in feudal age already. I think all of them are going for some kind of fast castle type of build, because all of them are going up beyond 21, 22 villagers. And now we can see the point of view of Food Police, who is looking for some damage to be had, and he's coming into the woodline of Gummibär Green. Of course, he wants to annoy Gummibär, and there's this rivalry, and there is no loom for Gummibär. Oh, so one villager might just be picked off here, or unless we have some bumping, and of course we have bumping of the militia, but this still look at all this idle time, and still one villager might be picked off. And so this is already quite effective. But remember, it's not a 1v1 situation. This is not about Food Police winning against Gummibär. This is about Food Police winning against everyone else. Now Aka playing very defensively, very smart. He's hanging back, having these tiny walls, to be honest, but I think it's a good start in the beginning, because you're safe from this pesky kind of aggression, as we have seen here from Food Police, who is just pesky, and this allows you to boom, focus on your economy, but at the same time, being too passive is also bad in a free-for-all situation. You also want to do something, expand your territory, and because if you're wedged into a corner, it's very difficult to win from there. Now Freddy is in the feudal age, so is Gummibär and Herr Aka and Jesse, and Food Police lagging behind a little bit. Food Police probably due to the fact that he was going for this early aggression, but this also means that he has 29 villages, so he should be very comfortable in going up to the next age. And we can look at the resources. The only problem is he is lacking the gold, and he really needs gold for the next age. Maybe he's just going for the age-old market strategy, where he will sell his stone and then go up to the next age. But look at this bottom score, Freddy and Food Police. So as I said, these free-for-all situations, they can favor weaker players, because they can kind of fly underneath the radar. They're like, okay, they're not a threat, so they're not being attacked, and so they can really make something happen in these games. And look at this top score, Jesse the Emperor. So we're expecting a lot from him. It's Jesse the Emperor, Herr Aka and Gummibär in the top 3 positions in score here. Herr Aka super defensive, just a spearman, just against some scouts, and who can blame him? I mean, we know that some players in this match, they like scouts, and they might like to go for some early aggression, and we see a lot on stone here for Fredinovic. So Fredinovic plans to go for some kind of castle drop, probably into his unique unit, which I don't remember the name right now, because it has recently been changed for the Hindustanis. It's the Ghulam, and it's sort of like an eagle warrior. So it's strong against archers, but it's weak against cavalry, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that you can just counter them with heavy cavalry, or cavalry in general probably. And recently they also have been nerfed a little bit, so I think they are fine. They're a good option against archers and for raiding, but they're not overpowered anymore. So this is not something you need to fear too much. However, Hindustan is very strong civilization. In general, they also have very strong hand cannoneers with a +2 range. They have the Imperial Camel, which is super strong against cavalry. So I think overall very strong and flexible civilization in this free-for-all The Burgundians I don't really like in the free-for-all unless Gumi wants to go for some Hail Mary Flemish Revolution scenario where all his villages turn into military units and then he just tries to overrun all the players. But other than that, they don't get bloodlines, so the heavy cavalry is always one step behind that of the other players, especially if you have camel civilizations such as the Hindustanis, or in the case of Herr Acker, where the Byzantines get the much cheaper camels. And yes, the camels of the Byzantines are rather weak, but still you can just outspam your opponents. And now Freddy is in Castle Age and Jesse the Emperor also in Castle Age. Jesse the Emperor making a fast castle into double stable knights play. This is crazy. Who is this guy? He did improve quite a bit, it seems, and he's now on the way towards Freddy, who is now dropping the second TC, dropping a castle, dropping this third TC. So 3 TCs plus castle. Although I don't necessarily like this castle position here, because it's really defensive on the side. Maybe he's trying to hide the castle, but I would say it would be better to secure the gold in the front, secure the map, and because this also does not really secure the flank, because the opponent can just come in over here and deny 2 gold spots and still attack all of the town centers. So I'm not sure about this play. We see some pussy walls here by Food Please, tiny walls, tiny economy here, another town center from him. Gummibär not yet in the Castle Age as the only player, so he's a little bit behind, he's a little bit rusty. Herr Acker now in the Castle Age with a second town center, hope a third one will follow soon. And we got the first knights out. And now the question is, where are the knights of Jesse the Emperor? And they're here and they're just scouting, and that's why this whole like double stable knights play here isn't so great, because who are you gonna hit? Are you gonna hit Food Please? But he's not your neighbor. Also there's a Jaguar pouncing on the knights, quite a bit of HP already missing on those knights, and more knights being pumped out here by Jesse the Emperor. But it's the wrong strategy. You need to also expand your economy, because all the other players are doing that. Freddy doing a 3 town center boom. The question is, will he be able to keep it up and then also fight against the other players? Because if he is identified as the strongest player, then the other players might team up against him, and so that might not be the best strategy. But for now he has the clear lead, 43 villagers against 38 of Food Please and Herr Acker, and he's just hanging back in his corner. Pretty bad scouting, to be honest, so he should actually work on that, try to find out who is next to him, and he finds Jesse the Emperor, and there's some juicy villagers to be picked here. Jesse the Emperor not reacting so far. And this villager might actually go down here. Yes, and it will. One more hit by the camel. But now some nice fire on the camel and the scout to repel that attack. Now we also have the same, I want to call it stupid strategy here by Gummibär. He wants to take revenge on Food Please. Food Please has attacked him in the early game, made an enemy, and so now Gummibär wants to attack, and of course he wants to use the bonus of the Burgundians, which is they get the early Cavalier. However, the Cavalier, what you have to realize is it's not much stronger than a knight with bloodlines. It has a little bit more attack, but it has the same HP, so it's not unbeatable. It's not super strong. It's a mistake that a lot of people make. They're like, oh, Cavalier in Castle Age, that's so overpowered, but actually it's not too strong in its own right, and you're sacrificing a lot for it. You don't get the bloodlines, and that means that your late game will be so much weaker in the end. Although Gummibär could go for Custiliers, which are pretty strong, which is the unique unit of the Burgundians. Otherwise, Herr Acker playing this very smart. He's just going for his 2 town center boom. He should add a 3rd town center at this point, and he's going for Cataphract and Camels. And this is a deadly combi because it's strong against cavalry, but it's also strong against infantry, and also since those are mobile units, also has a knight in here, they're pretty good against archers. Although archers probably still the weak point of this army composition. And I think that's something that he learned in a recent free-for-all that was streamed on Lily's Twitch stream, where we did a practice free-for-all, and the player using the Byzantines was actually winning in the end because they were able to just have the right unit composition and also expand early enough. Now we have Freddy coming in here into the walls of Gummibear, and those are 2 dead villagers. The camels just so deadly for the Hindustanis because they attack 25% faster. So their attack is actually 25% more than what's listed here. You see it's like 6 attack, but they attack much faster, so it's much better than you would think. Now we have this battle of Chevaliers, Cavaliers versus the Conquistadors. Now Blue is going for the good old Conquistadors, which is one of the strongest unique unit in the game, or the strongest unique unit in the game, at least in the Castle Age. However, the problem is it was nerfed recently, so now it takes bonus damage from... I was about to say Stäblewerfmänner, but of course what I mean is Skirmisher. So they're a little bit weaker. Also, he's missing a few upgrades. He's missing the defense upgrades, and also I think he's missing bloodlines, which would make them much stronger. At the same time, we're being raided here by Freddy Newich. Freddy now going for the camels. Freddy also expanding here with these big walls, these corner walls, which is nice. You need to make a slice, take a slice out of the map. And now we see why the Cavalier are not particularly strong if you have something like the Conquistador, because the Conquistadors can just hit and run and easily defeat the Cavaliers. Also a little bit of an unfortunate situation here by Gummibear, that he was double teamed by Freddy and Food Please. I don't know why they're trying to squeeze out Gummibear. I think they should focus on each other. They should focus on the strongest players, but they decided to, yeah, just hit Gummibear. The poor Gummibear just arrived here, and he's getting smacked already. And you see the strength of the Conquistadors. They can just turn around and hit the Cavaliers and do so much damage because they have a base attack of 16, and so all of this pierce armor and everything of the Cavaliers doesn't really help. They only have 120 HP, and still Cavaliers are finding some good hits, but look at this, all the Cavaliers being decimated, and the Conks can just turn right around and hit this economy. And this is why Burgundians not so great on this map in this situation. You should have gone for some late game powerhouse civilization. You could have even gone for Bohemians maybe with the Hufnitze. Or just the Franks and go for Frankish Paladins, which would be much better than second-rate Burgundian Cavaliers. However, now we have a situation where Herr Acker does the right next step. He is trying to expand his territory because resources are limited. You have a couple of gold piles, but you also need the gold piles of your adversary. So you see this juicy big main gold of Jesse the Emperor, and of course you want to secure that, and that's exactly what Haka is doing. He's saying, okay, I also take this stone, I take this gold, I take this gold, and this is what he needs for the late game. Also, he's picking the supposedly weakest player in this matchup, where he needs to just spend a little bit of resources to get access to all of the resources of this player. And we see Jesse the Emperor panicking, now going for, what is this castle? Jesse the Emperor, it's in range. Okay, just just out of range of the enemy castle fire. And now some mangonels being shot down, but still another mangonel already on the way, and I think this town center will fall easily. And Jesse the Emperor now in the Imperial Age. So if he were able to get up this this castle, then he could actually shoot down the castle of the Acker. But look at the army composition here, and look at the amount of military that that Herr Acker has, and this castle is going up, but it's not helping much because it cannot shoot down these units, because Jesse doesn't have what's it called, where the upgrade murder rolls, that's what it's called, to actually shoot on these units and then produce trebuchets and trap down the enemy castle. Now here we have the same standoff, Monk healing the Conquistadors, Freddy doing nothing so far, a little bit of attack here. Now he's kind of over booming probably. If we look at the population, he's 98 villages versus 103 of Herr Akka, so Herr Akka actually doing a better job booming, but Freddy is already in the Imperial Age. Now he is hitting Jesse the Emperor from the other side, and so I think Freddy kind of is making a mistake here, because he is hitting the weakest players. Yes, they are at his flank, but what is the threat of Jesse the Emperor in this situation? There is no threat by Jesse the Emperor. He's not gonna show up with war elephants all of a sudden. That's not gonna happen. And so I think he is making a mistake. He should instead maybe hit Fuflis, maybe hit Herr Akka and try to equalize this game, but he seems to be very confident. He's like, okay, I can do this, I can just hit those people. I now have elite Ghulams with 8 pierce armor for now, and so I can just raid the other people to death. And let's see if this will work out for him, but I think he's focusing maybe a little bit too much on the wrong areas. Or if he hits one of those players, then he needs to kill them, so he could easily just kill Gummy Bear and take all of his resources and then focus on Fuflis. But now he's like here a little bit, then he has the Ghulams, they're going somewhere. He has a castle, very defensive castle here. This castle, as you can see, it's not doing anything. It's very defensive. He's producing the Ghulams out of it, which is nice, but the whole front, there is nothing. Like, why not place it here? Why not make a strong stance toward the center of the map? Now we have some attacks here by Gummy Bear, who's attacking an outpost. And we have a monk coming in, and the monk will probably be picked off. Okay, I was about to say, I hope that those are not on stand ground. Now we have the Ghulam raids coming in, and this is something now I finally like from Freddy, in which he is trying to hit Fuflis, who is probably the strongest opponent of his, and he hits him where it hurts in the economy, killing villagers left and right. However, you see the Ghulams have been nerfed. They're not like undefeatable anymore. I think Elite Eagle Warriors are still the better unit overall, even though the Ghulams have this pass-through damage where they can basically hit a unit behind another unit. But now he's also coming in a little bit here, like he's just spreading himself thin. And at the same time, this castle has been killed, and I don't know, where are the trebuchets by Jesse the Emperor? He was an imp for so long, why no trebuchet to finally kill this? And I think the reason was because he tried to repair the town center, and that cost so much wood that he wasn't able to afford a trebuchet. Now we have Freddy coming in with light cav into the economy of Gummy Bear, but here he didn't do too much. Here, yes, he did quite a lot, but Jesse is kind of already out of the game because he's being pushed by Herr Akka. And here, also not doing too much. I mean, yes, the light cav occupy the Cavalier army, the useless Cavalier army of Gummy Bear, who's still in Castle Age, but otherwise not doing too much. So even though Freddy has the lead, he has almost the most villagers, doesn't look so great. Also, we see a big difference in booming, so Gummy Bear and Fuflis both at around 85 villagers, versus Herr Akka and Fredinowicz, who hover around 125 villages. And now we have Fuflis coming in, and he is now trying to attack Gummy Bear. However, if you look at the score, then I don't know, this is maybe not the right move. Yes, I said you need to kill a weaker player to get their resources, but I think that Gummy Bear has too much army to really be pushed in this situation effectively, because he has all of these Cavalier, and the Cavalier can now come in and then kill, maybe kill the whole army of Fuflis. Certainly you will kill the trebuchet, and you will be able to kill a few of those conquistadors. I wonder if Gummy Bear has husbandry, but we'll see. Now we have a big battle of the three armies. We have the blue, the red and the green army fighting all together, and Gummibär should just pull out. He should just be like, okay, I'm not gonna fight this. I am the weakest of these players, so I'm not gonna fight this. But then again, Fuplis somehow seems to focus on Gummibär way too much when his real adversary here is Fredinovic in the blue. Now he's wedging in his conquistadors in this little corner, but I think it's just too much from blue, and I think all these juicy conquistadors, these elite conquistadors, will just fall to the army of Fredinovic, because I think that the elite Gulams, they actually do have bonus damage against them, because they get a bonus damage against archer units, so it might actually apply. Meanwhile, still kind of a standoff here between Herr Acker and Jesse the Emperor, although Jesse the Emperor is has completely abandoned this area and is now, I don't know where. He has a villager here, and probably is hiding somewhere on this map. Ah yes, in the center of the map, in the plain center, that's where he's hiding. Now we have some juicy raids here coming in from Fredinovic. At the same time, raids coming in or trying to come in from Gummibär, but look at the stone walls. Fuplis has extra hotkeys for stone walls, so on his mouse he has 2 buttons for stone walls because he's so afraid of other people that he has to have that. Meanwhile, we have raids coming in, juicy villagers being picked off, and we can see that Fuplis, yeah, still at 80 villagers now, losing a lot of them, losing even more of them. Gummibär now finally reaching the 100 villager threshold, and so he could make a comeback into this game. But if you look at these weird walls over here, it doesn't look great for him. He needs to secure more of the map. He's squeezed into this small shape of his space here. At the same time, Herr Acker, he's being left alone completely, and I think that's a big mistake by the other players. They should not let him boom away and get to his ideal army composition, which is elite cataphracts, heavy camel. It's a little bit mean by Herr Acker to focus so much on Jesse the Emperor, but alas, he needs the space and the resources. There's some gold to be had, so who can blame him in the end? Now Gummibär also making the same mistake. He's like, Fuplis attacked me in the beginning, so now I need to attack Fuplis. But who is that helping really in a free-for-all? Is that helping you, or is that helping the other players, namely Fredinovic and Herr Acker? Look at this spam by Fredinovic. He's just spamming in the hussars. He must have a lot of resources in the bank, but actually I'm surprised that he doesn't have more gold. Now even going for the watchtower upgrades. So really going for all the upgrades he can muster, but he needs to expand. He has chopped many of the wood lines, and yeah, he needs to secure some territory and some resources. And now finally he is attacking Herr Acker, who is a little bit caught by surprise. But the problem is we have the cataphracts, and the cataphracts are the perfect counter against the Gulams. And did you see the slaughter? The trampled damage combined with the bonus damage just means that the Gulams just melted away. And the question is, what can you do against the cataphracts? But the thing is, Freddy has the Hindustani, so he can just go for Imperial Camels to kill the cataphract. So there is a counter there. That's why the Hindustanis are very strong, because they can actually counter most of what the other players can make. But so far we don't see the camels, we see hussars, and hussars are not the answer here. We need the Imperial camels, and I wonder, how did Freddy spend all his gold? He's not, yeah, here he has a gold mine left, and here he has a gold mine left, but he's just relying on hussar spam. He's like, I'm not even gonna use my gold, but you need to use the gold. You're not gonna win against the cavalry here with hussars alone. At least I don't think so, especially if you factor in the trample damage from the cataphracts, although it's such a mass of hussars so that they might actually be able to achieve something. But the next line of cavalry is already coming in, and I don't know, I don't see this with hussar spam here. This is not enough. And also remember, Acker has the cheaper camels. He has castles everywhere. Look at this, castle here, castle here, castle here. So his eco is well protected. He can now also get more resources. Get the resources of Jesse the Emperor, this main goal that we talked about before, and he can just basically go for heavy camels in this situation, which are not the best, but they're cheap. And you can see the Hussars, they cannot hold up to the Cataphracts. Cataphracts are just stronger, they have the trample damage, and they have more HP, more attack, more everything, and so Hussars are not the answer. Imagine if Freddy just had a few of the Imperial Camels in here, then this would be a whole different story, although I think that there's some weird army movement going on here for Herr Akka, but still he is able to kind of defeat the army, the entire army of Frediniewicz here, kill a bunch of the traps, and now he might be able to push Freddy all the same. Meanwhile, we have again this, I would say, pretty useless battle between Gummibär and Fuplis going on. They just want to kill each other. They don't want to win the game, they just want to kill each other, and I think that's the mistake. Now finally we have a castle here from Gummibär. I think his first castle in the entire game. Now he has Paladin, yeah, Paladin, but look at this, 160 HP. So those Paladins, they're not much stronger than the Cavaliers from other civilizations. And certainly, they're not much stronger, or not strong enough to face off against these camel civilizations. Now finally, Freddy adding in the heavy camel, still no Imperial camel. And this is weird to me, why he wasn't able to get to the Imperial camel already. Now the question is, does the Cataphract actually also resist the anti-cavalry damage? I am not so sure about that. Probably it does. So still the Cataphract, pretty strong unit here, especially mixed in with the camels. Now, what is Jesse the Emperor doing? Well, he's doing Emperor things, so he's hiding in a corner, trying to reboom, and that is the right thing to do, because you don't know how long this free-for-all will last, and so it's just makes sense to try to boom up ahead, but Herr Akka is relentless. What does he have against the Emperor? There must be some kind of grudge here between yellow and orange, probably it's the color, it's like, get out of my color range here, because it's difficult to differentiate these two colors on the minimap. And some traps being picked up for free here from Herr Akka, but honestly I think Frediniewicz underestimated Herr Akka, and now he's also splitting up his army. He's trying to defend from the attack here by Gummibär, who's finally also attacking another player. Still he's trying to kill Fuplis, which I think is just like throwing units into the meat grinder. Look at this, all of these hits, oh my god, all the Cavalier, all the Paladins are going down. And I think what Gummibär really needs here is maybe, I don't know, maybe gunpowder of him, his own gunpowder units to counter the Halberdiers, and also they would be pretty strong against the Conquistadors, I presume. And now this castle is still under siege here by Herr Akka, and Freddy doesn't have the gold to produce the camels, and so he has to rely on the Hussars, but the Hussars are so weak against this composition, as we have seen. Now Jesse the Emperor being ousted from his corner once again, now in the far back corner over here, but he still has a villager, so he could expand over here as well. What is Fuplis doing? Fuplis never really getting into this game. Yes, his Conquistadors are strong, but they're also falling off a little bit in the late game. And I don't know what his strategy is. Maybe trade with an enemy market or something? Use the Spanish trade bonus? I am not so sure. But what he needs is bombard cannons for sure. He needs some gunpowder in this, some siege. At the same time, Frediniewicz being pushed here in the middle, this castle falling down. And now the path is open to really go for the production buildings of Frediniewicz, who is now finally trying to raid the economy of Herr Akka, and very successfully so. It's just a single Hussar, but this Hussar will be able to kill a lot of villagers. You look at this. In my opinion, Hussars are a little bit too strong in the game. As a trash unit, they basically have the same stats as a knight in Castle Age, and so I think they couldn't be nerfed a little bit, but that is just my opinion on Hussars in general. You see that that Fredini was able to rely almost entirely on a trash unit and almost came out on top, and still could if he keeps up this raiding here, as Aka loses more and more of his economy. But at the same time, Freddy is losing his production buildings. The trebuchets are coming in, and Aka is dominating according to the score. And those players here, red and green, they're just wasting their resources. And that's what I mentioned in a free-for-all. You cannot waste your resources like that. You cannot just throw away units against an opponent that is not the actual threat. Gummibär will not win this game most likely. It's one of the other players, and now finally Aka reacting to the raids, bringing in the heavy camels, the super cheap heavy camels. Now finally he can go back to work, but I think he lost a lot of economy. No, he still has 102 villages working, and that is because they're spread out over his empire, and at the same time he is able to push in. Now here's a decisive battle. Finally Fredinovic brings back his cavalry from the Gummibär side, and Aka has to retreat for now, but a lot of the production buildings have been destroyed. 150 pop for Fredinovic only, whereas Aka is only at 170. Fair enough. Poopies, 200 pop. He's basically the strongest player. Now he's finally coming into the economy of Gummibär. Will this be the deciding push that ousts Gummibär from this game and finally solidifies the position of Foodplease? But Foodplease seems to struggle against Gummibär somehow, against this mass of paladins, because he's, I don't know, the army control just isn't there. He seems to be occupied with something. Maybe there's some real life laming going on, some over the table laming. But now finally the paladin masses, they melt. We have helps, we have conquistadors, and the paladins just melt here. What a disaster. And I think Gummibär has nothing left anymore, although he will keep fighting on even though his economy is completely idle. Look at this, we have 28 idle villagers here in this screen alone, and this is not how you win the game. Aka relentlessly coming into the economy of Freddy, who has nothing. Freddy has the Hindustanis, he has the imp camels, he should be able to defeat this, but he has nothing against this. He has no army, and I think Freddy unexpectedly just, not being able to make anything happen in this game, and Aka just comfortably beating him. And this is really surprising, because Freddy had the try-hard civilization, the Hindustanis, but he was just maybe too cocky. He was like, I only need Hussar spam. And here is the GG for Fredinovic. He's just giving up. He's saying, I'm out of this. I'm not gonna fight on. This is not worth my time. At the same time, Foodplease finally being able to push in here. I think the Spanish was the wrong choice. I mean, Conquistadors, strong on Nomad, but in a free-for-all, I think it just doesn't have the kind of punch, especially if you have so many camel civilizations in here. And even like the heavy cavalry here from Gummibär is strong enough to put up a fight. I mean, yes, they cannot defeat the elite Kongs, but it's still enough to put up a fight. And now we have Aka shift his focus over to red and green, and we have all these halberdiers. But remember, the elite cataphract, and they have bonus damage against infantry, and they resist the bonus damage. And so this is an overpowered unit that you can really only take down maybe with archers, or just even heavier cavalry. So if you have fully upgraded paladins, that's something you could do. And that's maybe really the thing that Foodplease should switch into, is his own paladins, but I don't think he has the resources, and also he has a parasite in the back of his base with Jesse the Emperor, who is still trying to reboom, and he's now at 13 villagers. This villager now finally starting to chop some wood, starting to work on a town center, and I think he will drop a town center soon. Now all of this army here from Aka should really go towards the front, and really should help in the fight against Foodplease. Look at this, Foodplease is being pushed here by Aka, who has the traps in place, and he has this perfect army composition. The cataphracts counter the halberdiers, and the camels counter the Conquistadors. Although I think we need all the army here, we need all of these units, 27 units that are missing on the front, and this is why He'aka will not be able to continue sustain his push. And the Conquistadors, although a lot of them are getting weak or are getting killed, they are still able to hold off this push by He'aka. And we need the reinforcements, we need more heavy camels, and we need more cataphracts here from our yellow player, and we have to switch over to his point of view to see what his resources look like. He is a little bit short on gold actually, and yeah, there's nothing in the queue from him except for ring archer armor, so he wants to go for skirmishers, and that's a good choice. Skirmishers are cheap for the Byzantines, and they counter the halberdiers and they counter the Conquistadors. Although this would not have been necessary if he really did use all of his army here against Foodplease. But for now, Foodplease is able to strike back. But the problem is, he still has this feud with Gummibär, and Gummibär is just coming in with a few hussars that are getting shot down. And this is maybe more like how strong the hussars should be. 75 HP, so they can actually get shot down by enemy castles and town centers. And now here we have some fight, but it's unfavorable because the camels fight against the halberdiers and the cataphracts are not taking part, but still it's enough to clear up the attack by Foodplease, and Foodplease has to go back and he has to deal with the raids in his back, he has to deal with the parasite in his flesh, which is Jesse the Emperor, and now Jesse the Emperor also building another town center. But I don't really like this. This should not be so close to He'aka. He should just hide here, hide in the back of the base of Fredinovic. Just run around and drop it here and take all these farms for yourself, Jesse the Emperor. You could be the new Fredinovic imposter. Now He'aka, he is thirsty for gold. He has 0 on gold, and this is the tricky part in his free-for-alls. You're running out of gold, you need more, but luckily he has secured the map control. He can take this gold, he can take this gold, and maybe there's another gold somewhere in the back, and he can also secure this gold potentially if he's able to trap down the castle of Foodplease. And now the skirms are here. They are fully upgraded, but you see they are a soft counter to halberdiers. They do some bonus damage, but overall you need a lot of skirms to really counter the halberdiers. But still, it's enough, and you can see that the skirmishes do very well against the Conquistadors. You can see the bonus damage really helps them. Yeah, just push back the Conquistadors, and you never want to fight skirms with the Conquistadors because it's just conks are so expensive, skirms are so cheap, especially for the Byzantines. And so this was really the right move for He'aka to tack into this unit to complement his army. Although he should not throw away the rest of his elite cataphracts because they are really strong and they're really necessary. Also to take out these bombard cannons. Finally, the first bombard cannons here from Foodplease. At the same time, we have Gummibär encroaching on Foodplease as well, whereas we have the parasite Jesse still over here, and also over here. So Jesse now back at 20 villagers at 43 minutes real time. But I think this game will reach its conclusion not in the distant future, because He'aka just seems unstoppable. Yes, he was had a little bit of a low in the action, a little bit of a low in the push, but now he's back. He has the elite skirmishes, he still has the cataphracts, he can spam the camels. He's now back on gold, 23 on gold. He has mining gold here, and probably will be mining gold here, and so he can still afford everything he wants. He still has 100 villager, which is more than enough. And at the same time, Gummibär doing again the wrong move. He's too focused. He's like, I have to kill Foodplease. Ich hasse den Foodplease. I hate Foodplease. I have to kill him. But that's not the enemy. You need to combine your efforts and push He'aka. This is the only way of winning in this game. But they're not doing that. He is blindsided by his hatred of Foodplease, and of course it's a long-standing feud, so I cannot blame him, but at the same time I wish he would play a little bit more strategically in this game. Now he's trying to take up the castle with hussars, but I think Foodplease does have murder holes, or maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have murder holes. But this is super bad for Foodplease because now he's being double teamed here. Green and yellow are attacking him at the same time, and we see that Herr Acker is relentlessly pushing. Now finally Gummibär thinks better of this, and he's like, actually I have the paladins, I have the counter to the army of Herr Acker. And so he's finally swooping in and killing all the skirms, and he will be able to kill the cataphracts as well, because the paladins are stronger than the cataphracts, but the Burgundian paladins are not so much stronger. It's just 10 HP more, a little bit more attack, but other than that, not so much stronger actually. And so Herr Acker for now is being pushed back, but now Herr Acker can just switch back to the camels, and that is what he does. And the camels, of course, perfect against the paladins of Gummibär. And so really you see the Sith choice by Herr Acker playing out. He has all the counters, so he could play defensively, stay back and always have the counter ready. But the same did go for the Hindustanis, for the civilization of Radiniewicz, but he just didn't make much use of the counters. He played, I don't know, weird for his style. I would have expected a little bit more. Maybe he was being arrogant. He was like, I don't need to win this, I will win anyways, I don't need to win the free-for-all, but I don't think that is the right move or the right mindset in a tournament. You need to want to win every game that you can. Now finally, this town center by Jesse the Emperor has also been castled, and it's a little bit demoralizing here for Jesse the Emperor, I bet. He's running out of wood, now has to chop some trees from a long distance here with his lumberjacks. Is now down to 22 villagers. Foodplease down to 65 villagers. Gummibär is still going strong at 120 villagers, but he also doesn't seem to do much, and that is maybe because of the Burgundians, because what do? And I think what he should do, he should wait until Herr Acker kills Foodplease, and then he should click the button. He should click the Flemish Revolution, and that would turn all of his villagers into military units, and then he could just do one final big push and potentially win this game. But for now he's just passive and doing nothing. And so yeah, he has his army of lackluster paladins in the middle. They could be healed, and now he's going back. Look at this. He's like, I have to kill Foodplease. But if you look at the score, like, why focus on Foodplease? Foodplease is dead already. You need to fight Herr Acker. You need to like expand. You know that Freddy is dead, so you could just expand over here, take the gold. But no, he is like, Foodplease. And probably that's exactly the way he said it in real life as well, and so that's why we see Foodplease now getting raided by Gummibär. Foodplease now finally attacking into champions of all things. The champions, I don't know what a champion's gonna do. Nothing. Like, champions are not that strong. Honestly, infantry sucks in this game. There's very few instances where you actually want to be making infantry, and as Spanish this is not the case. Maybe he should go for the Inquisition, go for monks, but he doesn't have the gold, or he should just also go for strong villagers and get supremacy and fight with villagers. That might be strong. Even now another push coming in here for Herr Acker, while Foodplease is being pushed on the side by Gummibär Grün, and so they're now, yeah, basically 2-1ing Foodplease, which is not the right strategy for Gummibär to win this game. But it seems like he doesn't want to win the game, he just wants to see Foodplease lose, and I can respect that. It's definitely a fine goal to have, to see Foodplease lose. Now this army of Foodplease is getting destroyed, and the trebuchets of Herr Acker are destroying the production buildings of Foodplease. The barracks are going down, and yeah, still so much army here from yellow and also from green, and I think Fuplis will resign soon. Freddy is already out of the game. Fuplis will be out of the game soon, I presume. Jesse, of course, still in the game, but he doesn't have any wood income. And he really needs wood. Like, what is he doing even? For the farms he needs the wood, but he can't chop any wood because he doesn't have any. And he doesn't have any villagers. Okay, he has one villager sneaking around over here. And he still has a barracks left over here, I guess, which hasn't been destroyed. So that's what's keeping him in the game, but he's not really able to reboom. And now we have the heavy camels against the champions of Gummibear, the Burgundian champions. Also not the best choice of unit, and you can see that they're just being slaughtered here. They're just being slaughtered by camels. So camels are stronger than champions almost in this situation, and that just shows you how weak the infantry is. Why you rarely want to make infantry in these types of late game situations. And Gummibear, but still, he's focused. He's like, okay, I need to kill food, please. Kill food, please. And so that's why he still has some trebuchets on the final castle of Fuplis. And I think once this goes down, then Fuplis finally will call the GG. Or maybe he will even cockroach on and be another Jesse the Emperor, who now doesn't have enough wood anymore for farms. And so he spent all the wood. He can't even afford a lumber camp. Oh no, he can, and he does afford a lumber camp here, but he only has one villager here, and if Herr Acker realizes this, he can just fight this villager and kill him. And meanwhile, we have some, what is this, some raids going on by Gummibear, doing nothing again. Finally, Fuplis calling the GG, and I think it's time for Acker to smash Gummibear. You would think, okay, Gummibear has 130 villagers, he has the economy he needs, he should be able to do something, but I don't think he has anything against this mighty army of Herr Acker, and I think Herr Acker will just dominate this game. And we have some villagers here from Jesse. Where did they come from? He's like, where does he pull out those villagers? This is really, yes, an ability by Jesse the Emperor that is unprecedented, just pulling out the villagers from somewhere. Okay, so it was from this town center all the way in the back, which is now being killed by Gummibear. So Gummibear focuses all of his efforts in not winning the game and instead in trying to kill Jesse the Emperor, who is already dead, who is now at 17 villagers in total. Finally, Gummibear thinks about, hey, I could actually raid the strongest player in the game. I could raid Herr Acker, but I think it's all but too late. Herr Acker still has the gold unit. You can look at his gold count. He still has 16 on gold. He has the bombard cannon, he has the trebuchets, he has heavy camels, he has paladins, Byzantine paladins, pretty bad, even worse than the Burgundians, but not by much. And that's why how you see that Burgundian paladins are actually not so great, because they're basically the same as a Byzantine paladin, which are pretty weak. First castle goes down here by Gummibear, or probably the only castle. Now he has one in the back, so he could still click the Flemish Revolution button, but I don't think he knows that the upgrade exists in this game. And so now we're just waiting for the slow push by Herr Acker, who is really dominating here. He has the bombard cannons, the cataphracts, heavy camels and skirmishers. He has all the units he needs, and there's nothing you can do. And Jesse the Emperor finally getting some wood back, so this is nice to see. He is now back to 400 wood, and he can farm again, and he can create more villages that way. And at the same time, Gummibear's population should be dropping, and it is. He's now at 150 pop. Acker almost at pop cap all the time, although I think he is struggling a little bit with the production sometimes. So now he has nothing in the queue at the moment, and this is something that he could work on. And he is now finally running out of gold. I don't know if there's a final gold mine left somewhere. But if not, he doesn't have the gold anymore, but still he has so many resources that he can just sell, and then he can queue more cataphracts which is probably best unit, best choice here, because it will just dominate all around. This monastery is going down, so no more relic gold for Gummibär. And now we have the trebuchets and bomber cannons encroaching on this castle of Gummibär. And what did Gummibär think? Like, what did he think? Like, oh, I need to kill food, please. Like, yeah, but lose the game in the process. I don't think that's worth it in this type of game mode. You need to play the game mode. And we can see that many of these players are not quite ready, or are not very experienced with free-for-all games, as they're not playing the objective, but they're playing their little grudge matches against the neighbors. Now again, we have a ballsy town center here by Jesse the Emperor, but I think this is just way too ballsy. He should just hide here in the corner of Fredinovich's base. That would be the only option, but I think it's too late, and Herr Acker is now putting this castle under siege. And yes, trebuchets on it, bombard cannons on it, and I think it's just a matter of time. Also, the camels are raiding, are killing the economy of Gummibär, who is now falling to 125 pop, and Gummibär calls the GG. And yes, this only leaves, who is left in the game? It's Jesse the Emperor who's left in the game, so I would say second place for Jesse the Emperor at least. And maybe he can still turn this around, but I think this town center may have already been found by Herr Acker. Now this is the tricky part. You need to find the Emperor, but as you can see, he knows exactly where Jesse the Emperor is, and I think he has already, maybe he has already researched spies here. No, I don't think so, not quite. He hasn't researched spies, but he might do that soon. So spies costs 200 gold per enemy villager on the map. I don't know if that counts dead players or not, but and then you can see all that your enemy sees. And so he's now killing this town center. He has to kill this barracks over here. He has to kill this town center, which still exists. So 3 town centers here for Jesse the Emperor still, who is at 15 population. And now this is the annoying part of the game, where you just have to wait it out until it's finally over. And you see how long this takes, because Jesse the Emperor, of course, he's Persian, so his town centers have twice the HP, so he's making this extra painful for us, extra painful for the players and viewers. But to be fair, at least he tried to still stay in the game and win this game, and not just give up like the other players, not just roll on his back and yeah, wait for things to end. So now we have the first town center being destroyed, the second town center is being tread down, so this is maybe a little bit overkill, but it's gonna be destroyed, and the villagers there are being killed. And now we're down to 4 population, and I think, you know, we don't have spies yet, but we will have it soon, I guess. This final town center here in the corner. And then we have a blacksmith which is being shot down, and then 1 barracks over here, and otherwise nothing anymore. Now we have a spy, so you saw spies have been researched, and so now he can see everything that Jesse can see, and so he can see these final villagers. And the villagers are not being attacked, but still he's taking damage from time to time, and that is the trample damage of the cataphract. And now Jesse is at 2 villagers who are probably inside of this town center. Indeed they are, and now he is down to 1 villager. He still has a villager somewhere, and this is the crazy thing about Jesse the Emperor. He always has villagers somewhere on the map, and now good luck finding these orange dots. And look at this, the villager is here, and he's trying to wall himself in, then break through this wall, and then escape all the way to this corner. And I don't know if Herr Acker will be able to find this. This is crazy. This is just cockroaching at its finest. And otherwise, nothing left for Jesse the Emperor. 1 villager, 0 military. But finally this villager has been found and there's no more villager. So what is keeping him in the game? What is it? And it is the barracks, and I think Jesse the Emperor still has enough to maybe produce 1 or 2 units from this barracks. If you look at this point of view, no, he has another town center. What the fuck? This is a town center by Jesse the Emperor. Crazy. I didn't see the spot on the minimap because it all looks the same. Orange and yellow, they look the same. And so still another town center, and so this army, the slow army, has to make its way over. Now we have a spearman coming out, being taken out, and another barracks. We have another barracks here, and another spearman even. The spearman is now in the town center. Now even villagers joining the fray. Heaka must be so annoyed at this point. He's like, come on, just give up already, I got this. But I think this barracks now goes down, and I think, see Heaka doesn't realize that this is a barracks by Jesse the Emperor, but now finally he realizes, but I don't know if he realizes that this is a town center by him. So this is the problem with the colors, and now we see the pikemen running away, the spearmen running away, doing the final stand and actually defeating the hussars. So well played by this final pikeman with only 1 upgrade. This town center will be destroyed. He's now retasking the cavalry unit so that they can all attack, but still it takes so long because it's a Persian town center. And then all that Jesse has left is a single spearman, and how befitting of a conclusion to this game where Jesse the Emperor is represented by a spearman. And now look at this, the villagers are coming to fight. The villagers are like, we've had enough, this spearman will not escape us. But look at this, it's a speedy boy, so the spearman is able to run away. But now the cavalry is arriving, the cataphracts, the Eastern Roman heavy cavalry is coming in, hunting down the lonely pikeman representing Jesse the Emperor, who has now upgraded officially from Jesse the Spearman to Jesse the Pikeman. But he is finally defeated, and the first victory goes to Heaka. A very convincing performance by him. He was playing the objective, he was playing the map, he was saying, I hang back, I pick a good defensive civilization, then I secure resources, and while the others fight their feudal feuds, Heaka was just sitting back, building up his army, and then just overrunning all the other players. So well played, and what a first game in the Winter Cup 2022. And I hope you are as excited as I am for the next one.